Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beautiful people. Welcome back to Royal Productions. Now let's get right into this news I have for you guys today. Consensus is finally over, y'all. Today we got a day to rest, but also go through all the news, watch it. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, let me pull it up for you guys. You can just go straight to their website, or you can go to YouTube and it'll be able to be found there. So you go here. Let me show y'all really quick. Consensus 2026, and basically they have all 3 days on there. So if you guys want to watch it, I watched probably about 12 hours of this. It's about 18 hours worth of content, but it's great. You can listen to it on times 2 or even times 3 and just skip some parts you don't care about, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of information here. I got some stuff for you guys, so I'm gonna put something together for you guys the next couple of days, and then we'll cover it together. All right, so first article I have for you guys today is stablecoins have their permission slip. Now comes the hard part, and this was basically talked about at Consensus. So like I said, they talked about certain things were covered in articles and news, and some things weren't. So you know what I mean, they pick and choose what they want people to know, the ones who weren't paying attention. But anyways, they talk about stablecoins and things like that, so we'll get into that in a second. Next article I have for you guys. Coinbase blames AWS for hours-long crypto trading outage. Bitcoin shows 2-cent price on Revolt as users report apparent BTC display glitch. It's wild, right? All right, largest transfer of wealth in modern history. About 83 trillion in private wealth to change hands globally over the next 2 to 3 decades. Okay, and this is true when we talk about moving from one system into the new system. You know what I mean? These assets are going to have to be put onto certain ledgers and blockchains, and the coins and things that are associated with these ledgers and blockchains are going to get that liquidity or money on them. So it's not only, it talks about a transfer of wealth from one partner to the next partner, like husband and wife, but we'll cover that in a second. All right, next, Zcash gained 70% in a week amid growing interest in crypto privacy. So this is very important. This is going to be linked to this first one where it speaks about privacy for these big firms and things like that. Next on the list is big tech invests 1 trillion in AI. So we covered this yesterday. If you guys haven't watched that video, go watch it really quick. It's only a day old. Check it out, and how we talked about a certain company, Corpse, actually stopped doing Bitcoin mining and got into AI data. So all that coming up next. Alrighty. Before we get into these articles, let's look at this market really quick. So the total crypto market is sitting at 2.6 trillion. We got the fear and greed index neutral, sitting at 50%, 38 on the altcoin season. All right, moving over to the prices. Bitcoin 79,000, Ethereum 22, XRP 139. We got Solana at 89, Zcash at 581. And if you guys want to see the rest of these, I'll pause it. All right, let's go. So basically it looks like all these coins are struggling right now. Consensus is over, like I stated earlier. So it looks like these markets are going to start going sideways, in my opinion, unless something happens. We never know. These markets been tricky. All right, they've been real tricky. Okay, so the first thing I have for you guys, stable coins have their permission slip. Remember, it's just a permission slip. Okay, the Clarity Act and stuff hasn't went through yet, but as soon as it does, we will probably get more infrastructure with around all this. Okay, but basically executives from MoonPay, Ripple, and Paxos said at Consensus Miami 2026 that regulation has accelerated stablecoin adoption, but infrastructure, privacy, and distribution remain a major hurdle. So distribution is very true, because when you have an asset like some of these, like XRP, XLM, some of them that only have a certain amount, the distribution part is very pivotal, because you can't give more power to someone else. You can't make someone else spend more for this, you know what I mean? It has to be level where everyone's getting the same amount. And I went through this process because I want to know how it would be equally distributed, you know what I mean, where the power is equally distributed. Like we could talk about Ripple becoming that middle person, but that still doesn't like fix the problem that some countries have more capital, and maybe that's just how it is. But I there's a lot of questions and a lot of things that have to be talked about, and I'm not even in these meetings, and I can see the headaches that you have so many minds, so many different people and cultures that are trying to come together on a new infrastructure, okay? A new, like, new privacies, there's a lot of major hurdles, like they said. But basically, the main thing also is privacy. Some of these big companies don't want all of their transactions to the public. It's just how business works in a way. You can't give your competition all the rights to what you're doing on the inside. And a lot of that, like I broke this down like to my girl, where it's like, okay, say you have somebody, like a small person who has some type of patent on their product, but now they're on blockchain. So this product, you have to buy certain things, right? In your patent or your secret sauce, you have to buy a certain amount of things. Well, if other people who are looking at your patent, well, not your patent, but your secret sauce, if they can see your transactions and what you buy, sooner or later they're gonna know what's the ratio for how much barbecue sauce you bought, or how much ketchup to mustard you mix together, or onions to, you know what I mean? So there are some privacies. That's just a small thing. But when you talk about like some of these NDAs and big corporation doing like these grants and deals, there has to be some privacy. There has to be some type of, like, thing where they can separate themselves, their payment streams and stuff like that. Because we're moving into stable coins, you know what I mean? So all these transactions are, you can see them. There's no hiding it no more. So there has to be privacy and other things. So we got the permission slip, but I still think, this 2030 agenda is going to be pushed back just because. Anyways, moving on. So Coinbase blames AWS for hours-long crypto trading outage. So I'm not going to stay here too long. I'm just going to say make sure you have multiple accounts, multiple exchanges where you're KYC. So if something like this happens with a Coinbase or with a Kraken or anything like that, you still have your assets somewhere else. And also, that's another thing. Don't keep your assets that you're trying to save for the long run on these exchanges. Just don't do it. It's not worth the risk. You get me? If you're trying to have generational wealth, you shouldn't be keeping them on a Coinbase or a Kraken or anything like that. But basically, this happened right after they announced the 14% workforce reduction, and also their quarter one. They didn't have a good quarter one, basically. So now it's drawing criticism because they have an outage, and it's like, maybe if you guys had workforce and you weren't reducing your workforce, you would have proper working channels. But it's neither here nor there. But remember, these articles would be down below. You can read them for yourself and check it out. Okay, moving on. I think this is crazy because I haven't seen, like, there's certain, I'm not going to get into it or name anything because I'm not shilling nothing, but there's been certain cryptos out there that I've only seen glitches go up. I've never seen a glitch for a certain cryptocurrency that goes down. It's always up. But with Bitcoin, I've seen these glitches where they come down instead of up. You get me? I've never seen a glitch where 1 million Bitcoin. If it's out there, please let me know, get at me, show me. But I haven't seen a 1 million glitch Bitcoin, a real authentic one. But basically, Bitcoin shows a 2-cent price on Revolut, and this was just a glitch. But again, you know what I mean? It's crazy. But basically, they say, where is it? The glitch came from, it was liquidity related, basically. So it had nothing to do with the actual price or whatnot. I guess something happened with it. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I guess some people say they bought at that price, but yeah, right. And then here goes the actual chart and stuff like that. That's just crazy. Right? But anyways, yeah, it's happening though. These glitches are real, I think, personally. Okay, so moving on. Largest transfer of wealth in modern history. So what's going to happen with blockchain, as a lot of you guys know, there's so much money that's just sitting idle right now, and it needs to be put to use. And when we talk about, like, so for instance, it's like you can invest in companies now. I think in the future of investing, you're going to not just be investing in a company, but you'll be investing in the infrastructure of that company. basically like World Liberty, they're giving their people like governance tokens where they get to vote and see which way the company goes and stuff like that. I think that's the whole future of investing in a company when it comes to the future. And this is $83 trillion worth of money that can be used to be built. It's just sitting in idle hands, sitting in idle accounts. Why? Because that's how the system is right now. But when we talk about 2 to 3 decades away from this point now, I think the money that's in the system is going to be actually being used properly, not just sitting there. But this basically talks about how basically driven by aging demographics and the longer life expectancy of decades of rising asset prices, and the shift is set to reshape the wealth landscape as we know it. So basically, you know, a lot's going to happen, I think, but it's actually Gen X and baby boomers as well receiving wealth from some of the first time. So basically, even older generations are going to get this boom from their parents and stuff like that. So it's going to be a wide spectrum of people receiving this, especially when we talk about some of these assets coming onto crypto and those people who are invested in crypto. It's going to be amazing. I think the future is going to be bright. If you're still here, take care of your health. Remember, your mind's your crown. Take care of yourself. Moving on. So Zcash gained 70% in a week amid growing interest in crypto privacy. So again, I like what Zcash is doing, because basically what you do is you lock up your asset. It's Bitcoin for now, but you lock up your asset and then you get that same amount of capital on a private ledger and you're able to transact. This helps the industry when we're talking about private companies trying to build and stuff like that. So I like this. I have to look more into it, but I love the idea of being able to transact and nobody able to know who that was or what you bought. You know what I mean? Because I think that was the real reason why Bitcoin and the future of the internet was created, where it's like, I love the transparency part, don't get me wrong, but not everything has to be transparent. Like, you don't need to know how much soda I drink, or you don't need to know, you know, how much diapers I need. Like, there's certain things that I think are just, they're good and bad, because with being able to see how much soda I drink, you could initially probably save on not creating more. It also helps in a way, but it has to be a happy medium. It really does. It really has to be a happy medium in my opinion. But enough with the ranting. Let's get on to this next article. I just think this is good for privacy's sake. Okay. Basically, we covered this yesterday. All right. So if you guys want, go to my page, check it out right down here. We covered it yesterday, but basically they moved into AI. They pivot from Bitcoin mining into AI. But this came out today, and basically big tech invests $1 trillion in AI, global waste for infrastructure for 2027. So this picture right here just speaks volumes. Like, the whole idea of a cloud raining down. Like, I love the imagery, like this blockchain on the earth. Like, this is the moon, and like we live on the moon. It's just that's a little crazy. But to be honest, like, with AI, like, you can learn almost anything with AI. Ask AI to help you with a workout regimen. Ask AI to help you learn how to meditate. You know, you shouldn't have to do that. You can read a book and learn these things. You can go to school and learn these things. But to be honest, when we're moving into this future of AI, like, it's about to get scary, y'all. Some of the old texts from the Bible and the Quran, like all the Hebrew texts that people don't understand, are going to be translated. When we look at like the Mayan text, there's so many things from history that are going to be unlocked because of AI. But then so many things of the future that are going to be unlocked because of AI. So them understanding this, big tech wants to get ahead of this. Like, I really think it's about to be some iRobot out here. Like, good robots versus bad robots, and AI fighting. Like, we already have our own people wars. It just makes sense that what we're building is going to be just as chaotic. You know what I mean? Like, we're humans. We're chaotic by nature. That's just who we are. So what comes from us is just going to be exactly that. And I feel like is going to fall into that realm of good and bad. So, it's a race. It's a race to see who can win, and it is what it is. We'll see what happens. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all hit it with a like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.